Greetings and welcome to EDUC 539 Session 1. I just wanted to kind of do an overview briefly of what the expectations are for week 1, and again extend an offer. If you have questions, feel free to contact me via email, and we can either set up a time to meet using either Google Hangout or on the phone. So week 1 is on emergent literacy development. So I'm just going to click on this, and using Engage, you're going to notice that you'll have, it may look different than mine, but you'll have your navigation bar on the left, and right down the middle you'll have most of everything we need for the course. Since it is our first week, there is some getting started information. You can read my instructor bio, and then this will look a little different for you all. We're waiting on the syllabus will be in here and learning outcomes. So we're going to have three synchronous meetings, excuse me. They're going to be on week 2, 4, and 6. So, and when the course is up and running, you'll see over here that due dates and assignments will be posted on the calendar as well. Those synchronous meetings are going to be an opportunity for you to ask questions and for us to connect more on a face-to-face level in the virtual world. So there's also some instructions on VoiceThread, which will be one of the assignments that you're going to participate in. You'll need to know how to do that. So there's the forums, the student lounge, and ask your instructor. If I have an announcement, I'll post an announcement and it will go to your email. Otherwise, feel free to use the course wall to post anything. If you have any, I'd love to see questions, ideas, aha moments. Feel free to post them on the course wall at any time. So our first week is emergent literacy development, and so during this week I have a little posting for each week on what we're going to be talking about, but you're going to learn about emergent literacy skills and the typical stages of this development. So you're going to get into some in-depth understanding of phonological and phonemic awareness, concepts of print, and then early stages of emergent literacy. So what is really kind of exciting is once you start to understand or revisit some of this information, it becomes exciting to see that even the smallest things like opening a book or holding a book, turning a page, pointing to a sign, all are indicators of those emergent literacy skills. After you read through that kind of goes over what we're doing the week. We've got the content area and the assessments. All the assessments are down here, whether they're learning activities like these two or graded activities like these two. They'll be under the assessments week. The objectives, readings, and resources for this week are located under that tab. And when you look through here, you can see that during this week, you're going to learn those different stages of language development, reading development, and writing development. And you're going to recognize the differences between phonological and phonemic awareness and the synthesis, and then provide a synthesis. You're going to synthesize the relation to literacy development. So, excuse me. This week you'll have a textbook reading, which this reading comes from the ebook by Dr. Jane Flynn, Why Do I Have to Know Linguistics? Chapter 2 is the expectation there. Then you're going to be reading out of the Continuum of Literacy Learning. And just an example or a heads up on this text, you have 3 different areas of this text that you're going to read this week. However, the first 3 to 4 pages usually of each of the sections really dives into an understanding of oral, visual, and technological communication or writing or whatever you're reading about. The latter part of the section is going to be the stages of development. So you don't need to read every detail within there, but definitely skim and scan and notice some of those stages of development. So when you start really thinking about how you can use that book, you'll know where to go. So if you're working with maybe a second grader, you could pull up the second grade part of the writing section and look and notice what the expectations really are for a second grader with writing. This text has been something we've adopted at our district, and we also at a district-wide level, but as special educators, we're really digging into it and using this language when we're writing our IEPs and our assessments, because the language is so thorough and it really helps pinpoint out what a child can do and where to take them next. So just keep that in mind. It may look like a lot of reading, but really those first few pages of the chapter or section will be what you want to read in depth, and then just definitely skim and scan the rest of it and kind of poke around and notice some of those developmental stages of literacy learning. There's a few online resources in reading. You're going to go to the NPR report, or NRP report, which is the National Reading Panel report, and this link will direct you to where you want to go for that reading for alphabetics and phonemic awareness. There are several sections of this report. Right now you're just reading this section. And then the online resources that you have here, this first one is on mindset, and that is again based on the intro that I did. That's the one that I'd like you to watch, that just to think about and reflect about who you are as a practitioner. Then we have 3 videos here that are all based on emergent literacy skills, and then there will be some, we call them integrity sessions, but these videos are more like a PowerPoint, similar to what I'm doing here, and they go over language development, reading development, writing development. So the title of it is 600 Stages of Language Development when you pull that up under the resources. With week 1, let's go back. There's 2 assessments, and they're both going to be discussion questions. So the first discussion question that you have is applying what you learn. So basically, after you go through all of the information from this week, you're going to summarize and make applications to your classroom instruction. Then I'd like you to look at the continuum of literacy learning and your current understanding of writing development. Create a scenario of a child, maybe you know this child personally or you're just going to make it up, and their writing abilities, and then challenge your classmates within that post to determine what the child has in their control and then what you should teach the child next. With all discussion questions, your initial post is due by Wednesday, and the reply to the posts are due on Sunday. I do think it's really important that those initial posts get up on time. We're a community of learners. We're an online virtual community of learners, and we are all relying on each other to grow and learn throughout this. So this is one of those opportunities that your classmates and your community of learners are also kind of relying on your thinking as well as they are, you are of them. So just keep that in mind as you work through the weeks, that these discussion questions, that Wednesday initial post is pretty important. Then you reply to your 2 posts or 2 other classmates or more by Sunday of the week. All right, the next assessment this week, I don't know how to go back without going all the way back, but we'll go back to week 1, is going to be phonology and emergent readers. So you're going to be reading out of Dr. Flynn's text ebook, and then the other information that you read and learned about this week. I want you to reflect on your own literacy learning. Think about, obviously, the beginning part is what connections did you make between phonology and teaching emergent readers, and then reflect on your own literacy learning and what current practices are used in your school. If you're in a school currently. If not, just think about your own literacy learning. And then if you want, you may want to do a little bit of research on phonics and whole language versus balanced literacy. And then make a case for the approach you feel will best accelerate students' emergent literacy skills. And again, this is your initial post is due Wednesday, and then your other 2 posts are due by Sunday evening. All right, so that is week 1 of EDUC 539. Again, if you have questions or want to connect about anything about the course, feel free to contact me. Thanks.